Recording. 1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Got the three amigos here talking MCU stuff. We got Eddie and Mike. We've got the columns of faces here. Hope you enjoy us. Nice to see you, lovely gentlemen. Mike, we missed you last week. How are you doing, bud?
Yep. Good to be back. Good to see you guys.
Yes, you too. So we didn't get to hear, generally speaking, how you're like, and we're talking episodes 3 and 4 She-Hulk in this particular episode, but how are you liking the series so far, Mike? What are your overall thoughts?
I like it a lot. It's so far, it's definitely, I would say, in the more funny genre. Like, it's not taking itself too seriously. But I think I like all the characters so far. Like, I think I'm blanking on her name, the actress, but who's playing She-Hulk? I think she's adorable,
Tatiana something or another.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I think she's great as the character she's playing. Yeah. So far I've liked it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's talk episode 3. So this was The People versus Emil Blonsky. I guess, Eddie, let's jump over to you. Like, what in this episode sort of stuck out, or that you liked or disliked, or kind of some, initial thoughts on it?
I feel like a lot of these episodes are like it's going to be court cases. I just found out there's 9 episodes, by the way, in the series. I didn't know that because I was trying to figure that out too. Because when you sent over the mid-season trailer, I was like, where are we at mid-season? I'm like, how many episodes are left?
Yeah.
So I saw it was 9, so that makes more sense. I like that every episode is like pertained to a court case. I like that. Like, they're not running too much into like She-Hulk and there's one enemy. It's like they're doing all the court cases that she actually has to do, and then there's the bigger enemy towards the end.
Yeah.
With this episode, I just thought it was pretty tame for the most part. I mean, there wasn't much that really happened. I mean, we got to see Abomination transform from Emil Blonsky, which we hadn't seen in a minute outside of Shang-Chi. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was just it was a telling episode. We found out about a few characters towards the end, but which I still don't know. I still don't know why they were there. But again, we have 5 episodes left.
Yeah.
I there's not much to say about this episode. It was pretty chill. Like, not much happened. Mike, you wanna?
Yeah, you got any thoughts on this one?
I think pretty much every like these episodes are kind of the dynamic, like a lot of these series go, is like story building and character setup, and then you find out the big bad, or the like the last 3 episodes are kind of like the crazy ones, which is totally fine. So you're getting kind of to know people. I kind of like how Emil Blonsky seems like more of a chill dude. I mean, if you think back at that Hulk movie, he took himself way too seriously as a soldier.
Yeah.
And he seemed like very like chill and kind of like everything's cool, man. Like, I'm all good, which is interesting change for the character, but I liked it. And like Eddie said, there's some other character setups. I think there's hints towards potentially a big bad sort of thing, I think. I thought it was fine. Again, I think these 4 episodes are all story building and setup.
Yeah.
I think 5 through 9 is gonna get like where legit things happen, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, this one seemed definitely like a kind of a fun thing. We talked about this a little bit before shooting, but like the Megan Thee Stallion being in it, or at least referenced in it, and then eventually in it, which we'll transition to episode 4 with the point that I want to bring up with her and the final credit scene, which took on a life of its own. But yeah, it was. Now, Blonsky, though, do you guys think he's actually up to something, or you think he's a legit reformed dude?
Yeah, Mike.
I think at the end of the day, there's got to be a setup for something. Like, I think his character, that he's I don't think he's going to be like an Avenger or anything. So I think there's either whether he's pulling the strings, someone's pulling the strings. I think he's definitely playing a little game, but which is fine. But I don't think it's going to be a complete like character flip for him at all.
Okay.
So I don't trust him. There's a reason why he asked for her to be his lawyer. There's a lot of different, very specific things that are going on. So, we'll see.
Yeah. What about you, Eddie?
I'm on the same page with
Yeah,
Mike.
all right.
I feel like we've seen this kind of character multiple times in movies where like they play the character like, oh no, I've changed, I've reformed, and then the moment they get free, they're right back on the, I guess, the wagon. I guess you could say that. I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely leading towards something much bigger, and I'm excited to see it. I do want to. We'll get there. I'll bring it back later. We're good.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So within this episode, that was the primary part. It was a lot of Blonsky. You finally saw his soulmates, which, Mike, you weren't here. We talked about it. I thought maybe it was tied to like the Thunderbolts or something like that. It's clearly not. So way off base on that. Don't know what's happening there. It's kind of just a funny, like, all right, all these ladies like him. This is just funny. So I personally thought that was kind of fun. Wong was in the episode. Yeah, he got him out. Cool. He admitted it. Nothing really much there. And then you had the other side story in there was that Asgardian shape-shifting elf, which was acting as Megan Thee Stallion, which was fine. I thought it was okay. I was like, all right. And then to me, where I'll wrap this episode up in, because there's not, like you guys said, there's not a whole lot to it. But the twerk heard around the world. So I want to hear from both you guys. Like, one, what'd you think about it? Did it bother you or not? And if it did not bother you, what are your thoughts about it? The people who I want to hear everything you think about it and what you think about the people who have the opposite opinion as you.
I'll start.
Yeah.
I truly didn't care. Listen, at the end of the day, like, Disney is trying to get viewers. Meg the Stallion, she brings a different viewership. If people hear that she's going to be on the show, people are going to watch it. It's clicks. It's clickbait. Whether it is what it is. This show definitely is doing things of like women empowerment and like, all these things. And she's a large representative of that with her music and how she like goes about things. I didn't hate it. Anyone who does hate it just is way too serious about anything. It's the same people who, we're talking about a completely different thing, who hate like black elves and Lord of the Rings and things like that. Like, anyone who's overthinking a comic book show that is made up fiction is whatever. But I think it truly was to get clicks in there, to get people who are fans of her to watch the show. And, and she's hot, so I didn't hate it. I can't. She knows what she's doing. She's like top 3 twerker in the world, I think. So
top 3. Wow.
Oh, I want to see this full ranking.
I think her, Cardi B, and there's another one. I think she calls herself like the twerk queen or something.
That's funny.
Wow. But yeah, no, I had no issue with it. It's just, it was silly.
Yeah. What about you, Eddie?
It was a fun little like side story. This guy meets this elf. Well, doesn't know she's an elf. And makes this, make this guy gets her to buy all these things, and you're like, she even says like, she's like, you bought a Nissan Sentra for Meg the Stallion? Are you kidding me? That was so funny. I was like, this is fantastic. It was a fun little gesture. It was a fun little storyline. And then to see her at the end with the twerk, it was just funny. Yeah. And then the line, she's like, I would kill for you. She's like, okay, dial it back. Like, that was really funny. I think they're just having some fun. And again, like Mike said, it's very much like the way that like a lot of things show online, like this character's in this show, so it brings in that particular group of like
it's a certain demographic,
exactly, to the show, and it allows them to kind of boost the numbers a little bit, even though she's only in it for like
a
5 minutes total.
Like 3 seconds.
She was in like 2 or 3 scenes. To go back to when you mentioned about Blonsky with the Thunderbolts, I don't even think that's a possibility. I could be wrong, because even at was it D23 today when they showed the poster for the Thunderbolts, he wasn't even in it. We know, right? But that I mean, that's Marvel does it all the time, where like they'll show something that like for Endgame or not Infinity War, they showed that move of all of them running out, and it never was even in the movie, and then people were already gone by that time. It's just like it didn't matter. So they're probably playing us. I thought that would be a thing too, and it just didn't happen. But yeah, the Met the Stallion piece was it was just fun.
Yeah, no, I hear you guys. Well, and you and your woke agenda here, so you can. I'm in the same boat as you guys. Just have some fun, relax. It's a comic slash fun sort of thing. It's not a slap to anybody. Is it serious MCU? No. But frankly, I personally think, and this is a tangent that I don't want to go too deep into, but I think there are so many people who are just looking for every single movie to be Infinity War or Endgame. And I'm like, just stop. Like, it's not going to happen. So, you know, I think I got through that during WandaVision, frankly. And I was kind of like, all right, I got to reset my my thoughts here. So anyway,
But I feel like that's what happens when you raise the bar. So like, I feel like when
Yeah.
you raise the bar, you're setting expectations. Now, I don't think a lot of people know how the movie business works. Like, you can't just give you like A pluses all the time. It just won't work out. Like, you have to have some, you know, some peaks and valleys. It's like,
Yeah.
it's all of life. And like,
Right.
if they gave you, if everything was like Infinity War or Endgame, I feel like it'd be an overload to some
Yeah.
point. I mean, like, we have an overload in a different way. There's always content out, but it's always like content that kind of like, it's like, oh, I'm getting an appetizer before the main course.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what it feels like, rather than always getting main courses for your entire meal. That would just be a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I do want to say.
I think we.
Go.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Mine's a different topic entirely.
I was just gonna say, and we've talked about this before when we've done this with the other series. Like, all these series are setups to everything.
Yeah.
So, and they're completely different in their scope, their vibe, everything like that. Just like all these kind of new movies and characters. So, like, this from the very beginning has been a fun. I don't want to I'm going to use the term cheesy, but it's been cheesy and fun and quirky and like sarcastic. So it's like, that's what it's going to be. So you're going to have cheesy, fun, quirky things happening. Like, you know, we'll talk about episode 4 at one point, but the Madison in that, she's a cheeky, fun, like that's the whole point. So, but go, Eddie, I'll let you finish the thing you wanted to say.
There's one thing about this show that like makes me cringe as a guy, and it's watching some of the guys in this show be guys. Like, they walk up and say some of the most like outlandish stuff, and I'm like, dude, like, that's like every time they come on screen, I'm just like, oh my god, like I clench, and I'm like, please don't say something stupid. And then they say something stupid, and I'm like, of course, because it's part of the episode. But like, it's hard to get through a bit. Like, I get it. Like, I see it and I hear about it all the time from all my female friends. And it's crazy. And then to actually watch it in an episode and then be cast as that, can you imagine? I would kill myself. I had to play the character like that. Oh my god.
Like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Be a prick.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, we can like talk about the show and whatever, but like, I have like some gripes with like those angles, like. Yeah. And especially with She-Hulk, like her not being able to like get guys and stuff. Like, she's hot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm attracted.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like the fact that she has like no like trouble getting dates, I'm like, this bullshit.
Yeah.
Bull stuff.
You're fine.
No, you're good. You're good.
But no, I think, you know, again, I think they're making like a kind of a broad statement of women and dating, and like I said, I think it's a very much a women empowerment show, which I'm all for. And they're showing like the worst guys theoretically that can exist. Like, I have
top tier trash.
Like, some of the messages that they get on like dating apps, like, guys are scumbags and trash. You're right. Every guy that shows up, like that lawyer that works with her, like everything he says is just the worst. And like, he hasn't changed. He's just terrible.
It is cringeworthy.
I concur. So the last thought I've got on this episode was when she gets jumped by the wrecking crew who stole the Asgardian stuff. The one comment that one guy makes about the boss is going to be upset. Who do you guys think the boss is?
Get that one.
So like I kind of mentioned, I think everything's happening for a reason. I think there's strings being pulled by someone. We can talk about potentially, the Thunderbolts. You can think of maybe Blonsky hired them, maybe Titania. I mean, Titania technically I think is going to be the big bad, or potential is one of the big bads for She-Hulk. She could be running things. The fact that they had Asgardian things is interesting. I have no idea who it is, but someone's definitely doing something. I mean, those guys were idiots. So they're, you could, like, they were your prototypical, like,
low-level thugs. Yeah.
And they were just very bad. I think in the comics, they actually become fairly formidable. So maybe, getting her blood, I think, is someone's plan. The other one that I thought of, especially with the fact that they're trying to get her blood, which I saw in a comment, but I didn't hate the idea, is in the Hulk movie where Abomination was there, the dude who made him Abomination, and he got
The leader.
Brainiac, he got
His name, guess what? He's showing.
I forget his name.
His name's the leader, or
Yeah.
something like that. And guess who's showing up in Winter's or Captain America 4?
Oh, stop. Are you for
Dead serious. It was announced at D23 today. So that's an interesting point.
So he in that Hulk movie was all about Hulk's blood, had a bunch of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It could be coming back to fruition. Just a thought. But how about you, Eddie?
Any mention of the name The Boss, I naturally assume Kingpin. I don't know why. I don't know why he'd even be in the show, but Daredevil will be on eventually. I have no idea when. I mean, that's one. It's probably a long shot, but like still, you never know. Like anytime I hear The Boss, I naturally assume Kingpin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably Titania or Emil just low keyed onto the bridge somehow. Maybe has a connection to like one of like the guards and moves on through that way. But yeah, the people that were sent to go grab her were your basic like bums. They were getting anything, and they're using like Asgardian weapons to get things out. That just did not work out. So
yeah, that was pretty.
I think they were also like Asgardian like construction tools, but they did look pretty cool.
Yeah, they look dope.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. I agree. All right, so transition that to episode 4, which, by the way, and this is how I'm going to transition it with that group is
Thor, who do you think?
Well, I didn't know at the time, but now I think it's the leader. After you brought up that point and the fact that he's going to be in Captain America 4 per D23, I'm like, I bet they give a soft tease to him. Like we're not going to see him. We're not going to really know what's up, but there's going to be some sort of like small tie towards the end. But the only other ones I thought of were, obviously Val, potentially her, or Sharon Carter's new character who, I don't know what's up with her.
Forgot about her, bro.
Yeah. So what did they call her in that?
She was the Taj. What, I forget her.
Yeah.
I forget what her called that, whatever she created as herself was.
Yeah. So, but like,
I actually thought she was going to be in the Thunderbolts, to be honest with you, as part of them.
Yeah, I thought so too. And it's kind of like, okay. And I'm like trying to find, I'm like, this is driving me nuts. And what show was that? That was Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
That was Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm trying to find it. All right. Yeah. Let us know, because that's gonna drive me nuts. Not remembering that. But anyway, so that the voice of the guy who tries to stab her. Now, do you remember when in episode 4 when she went on those consecutive sort of dates and they had people across from her? So one of the guys was like, and he was semi nerdy, and he goes, and he's like, is your skin impenetrable? And she's like, yeah, pretty much, from anything on this planet. He goes, even vibranium? And like his face, well, I think he was the same guy who tried to stab her, because that guy had a mask on. And if you listen to the voice, I think it might be the same guy. So
I agree with you. There was a moment where I was like, that guy seemed
super weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, all right, like what's up with this?
He was out of all those dates, he was one that wasn't like being a douche. He was like
power broker,
kind of like asking. Yeah, he was like, because one guy wasn't listening. He was just very much like being weird about it.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yep. So all right. So episode 4, we've got not Johnny Blaze, but Donnie Blaze, the magician, who used to be at Comertage. I thought this episode personally was pretty fine. It was fine. It was fun. It had some action in it, which I thought was neat. It was your normal, again, like you said, a new court case, and the introduction of Madison with 2 N's and a Y, and it's not where you think.
Sorry to cut you off, the power broker.
Sorry, no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I saw it just a second ago as well. So anyway, I find her her character to be amazingly annoying, sexy. I don't know how you put all those things together, but somehow it's not in the middle part there. The annoying part is not a lot. It's just like, no, I'm cool with this. Like there's something here that I find with this character that I would like to see in the MCU, just sort of comic relief for a while. So
he could be the MCU.
Oh, and then Mephisto showed up. You guys saw Mephisto, right? So
I hate you guys. I hate you.
Yeah. So Eddie, what'd you think of this one?
Oh good. I feel like you had to know where it was going. I didn't know. I'll admit I didn't know where it was going. But when he said do the thing, and I was like, oh, he has the, and he put it on his hand. I was like, oh, he has one of the
sling rings.
The sling rings. And when he opened the portal, I was like, well, where is that? Like at first, my first thought goes like, where is that? Where is that portal go to? Couldn't really see it. And then she ends up at Wong's place. And the moment she gets there, it starts like leaking The Sopranos, dying.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was a constant. And there were people that were pissed about that. There were actually fans who were like mad about her leaking. I'm like, yo, The Sopranos been for like 15 years.
Yeah.
If you watch it, you're missing it, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
If you're watching She-Hulk or over The Sopranos, like you haven't finished that by now, you deserve any sort of leak. Like
100%. 100%.
If you didn't finish it after like the year after it came out, then we don't care about you.
You're irrelevant. No, but I thought she was a fun look. Again, I feel like they're having more fun with this show than they have with all the other MCU shows outside of maybe like. No, that's probably the only one. I mean, as far as I am was pretty fun for the most part.
I am Groot.
Yeah, I mean that was a short miniseries, but this is a series that's like not taking itself too seriously, and it's having fun wherever it can with Meg the Stallion and with Madison coming in, and she was a stunner.
Yep.
And Wong is playing a very important role in the MCU right now. For a while, he was just kind of like dipping in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's like involved in this series now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he'll go past this episode. So far, it seems like he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was another good episode. Donnie Blaze, dude, is a trip, man. Was he a former student at Comertage?
Yeah,
failed out, and then became like a cheap trick magician.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he lasted they said he lasted like a week or a couple. Like he barely even
it was nothing
because he was like cheating or something. He did something.
Yeah.
Dude, I will say though, his assistant in the show, my man's apparently 102 years old.
Are you serious? Yeah. Holy cow! Wow. Is that the Magic Castle, by the way, in LA that they're shooting there? It looks like it.
No, I think it's supposed.
It's a reference to it.
It's a reference to it. Yeah, but it's not. It's
okay.
It's the reference of the Magic Castle.
You can't even bring phones in there. I can only imagine a camera.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I've only
no.
So the other parts of this episode. So Wong, like you said, he's in it quite a bit. I did enjoy. We talked about this a little bit prior to the episode or to us shooting this. Is that I loved the troll of people thinking it was Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be a thing that Marvel really leans into.
There was somebody recently.
I think it is a troll.
100%. 100%. It is. Like they're just apparently Feige loves to do these things.
That character anything.
Yes. Yep. And it's
anything.
Donnie Blaze.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because it's irrelevant. Yeah, sorry, Eddie, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I think I read somewhere, heard somewhere that there was a rumor that I think Keanu Reeves wanted to come back and play Ghost Rider. Is that what I heard? Like he would like to do it.
I know he's been
on board for that.
Ryan Gosling definitely does.
Was it Ryan Gosling?
Gosling has absolutely said it.
Keanu said he wanted to. He said he wanted to do some sort of comic book movie, like MCU movie. He said he'd be down for that. I forget what he might have said a character, but I forget what.
Then Gosling, so he said Ghost Rider. I would watch him as Ghost Rider for sure.
Yeah,
it'd be like him watching. It'd be like watching Driver with like a flaming skull. I'd be like, bet,
yeah,
I'm for it, like 100%.
Yeah. Mike, what about you? What are your some of your highlights or lowlights of this episode? Things that you generally what your takeaway was from it?
Yeah, kind of like I said, I think this episode was, I'll call it a filler episode, not saying that's a good or bad thing, but it's some minor setup stuff, some minor things. Definitely a humorous episode. Donnie Blaze, I don't know if you guys watch Entourage. That actor is hilarious. He was awesome in Entourage. If you ever watch that show, he's hilarious. Madison, again, I think, they've leaned into like the douchey guys over the top. She's like the opposite with like humor of like a party girl, like super, like, and again, very attractive, beautiful. I thought she was funny, fun, like ridiculous. The fact that she like befriends Wong is hilarious, where they're watching TV together and eating popcorn at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought, we got to see a little bit of action with like those monsters and things that came out. And potentially a different dimension wherever those are from.
Yeah, I'd love to know where that was too.
The Demon Jake.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was fine. I've enjoyed every episode. I all these series that come out, however many episodes there are, whether there's 6 or 9, I know nothing's going to happen until the last half, and I don't mean that in a bad way. But I think it's stayed true to what it's been from the very beginning of a fun, lighthearted show. Making some statements. Her trying to figure out who she is. And see where it goes from there.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. The dating aspect of this episode, which I found interesting. Like I don't remember if we talked. Yeah, Mike, you said it earlier, where like the fact that she's like getting rejected somehow by some of these guys. I'm like, okay.
Like the guy she takes home as She-Hulk, and then he wakes up in the morning and she's her, and he's like, I gotta go. Like, this is weird. It's like, she's still hot.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, what are we doing here? Like this, like that's where I'm like, come on, man. Like, she's not a monster here.
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
like, I'd be fine with both. Be like, let's switch back and forth.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
It's like built-in role play, right? It's just right there really for you. You know what I mean?
It's a built-in threesome.
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
Disney's not even aware they're doing it. Or maybe they are. I don't know.
Aren't.
And that's where my mind went. So
yeah, hey, we don't shame here. So let's see what else in this episode. Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's not a lot. The demon army thing was neat. I really liked seeing some of those portals. I don't know if I think they might be teasing us with some of this hell stuff. But I think it's a build up to something later in the MCU. I don't know when or where. One thing I did want to mention, because part of this episode and the last couple episodes is Titania starting to trademark stuff with She-Hulk, so it is building that dynamic. In the comics, apparently, and this is a potential spoiler for a movie that's coming out, so I don't want to go into it too much because it's rumor, but apparently Doctor Doom is somebody who helps Titania gain further powers. So that's something that if he ever does enter the MCU, if she sticks around a bit and is sort of a true adversary for her, it'd be interesting to see if that does happen and she somehow interacts there. I just wanted to throw that out there randomly. It's not, any big, but obviously those two are going to play something out because of the whole trademarking thing, at least.
Go ahead, Eddie.
I have something I want to go back on. So, Okay. Opens the portal, demons come out. We have no what it is. They close the portal. He opens up a new one that looks like it's somewhere off in the mountains.
Yeah.
Where do you think he sent them to? And if I'm guessing this correctly, what if he sent them in the same place where Scarlet Witch is buried?
That's interesting.
I was actually thinking it looked like the place in Infinity War where Strange sends the one of monsters and chops his head off. He was in the middle of
in the middle of nowhere.
One of the Black Order guys.
Yeah.
I think it was, but that could very well be also the same place that
Scarlet Witch.
Buried, so.
Yeah, because usually they'll send they'll do those moments in the show, like they'll kind of recall it later, and it just never was recalled. And so they're just there. They're just in the mountains, floating.
And another
no one knows what's going on.
Another D23 thing that was announced today. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but a solo Scarlet Witch movie is going to be made.
There's so much I had to catch up on. I didn't. Because I was on Twitter, but didn't see like half of it. I think I saw maybe a quarter of it.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta read a lot of.
And who knows what it is? It could be prequel stuff. It could be stuff that happened between the Multiverse of Madness and WandaVision. Who knows? I don't.
Hey, we've said it many times. If you don't see them die, they did not die.
That's right. That's right.
We didn't see Kingpin get shot. We only heard the bullets.
That's right.
we only heard the gunshots.
So, yeah, if they got sent there and somehow, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. What, Mike? Do you have thoughts there that you wanted to chime in on too?
I was just gonna go back and we kind of mentioned it, but I think, and you had talked about maybe making Titania more powerful. I think the whole run of this show, and because at the very beginning in the first episode, Hulk made an animated point. I think this is all going to be about getting her blood and using it to transform or make more powerful beings. I also think and we didn't really mention it, but Hulk getting sent to space. Yeah. I think this is potentially setting up a
World War
Hulk.
Yeah.
I think if you get her blood and create more Hulk, I think there's some dynamic in that. And I think Marvel or Disney just got the rights for World War Hulk now, so I think theoretically they can do it.
As long as it's, I think
that's
it's a I believe it's going to be a 5-part series. They just, I think that one company still has it, Universal or whatever it is. But
yeah, but I think it expires in 2 years, and by then they can. But I think the steps they're doing are to set it up. It may not happen right away.
Gotcha.
But I think this is where it's leading. I think
I
next
agree.
year or the year after.
Well, I think,
and
I think they can do a mini series. So whether it's in the next 2 years, they do a mini series or something after. Regardless, I agree with you. It's heading that direction. So cool.
Yeah, I think everything's about her blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't have anything else on these last 2 episodes. I'm with you guys. It's a fun show. It's not taking itself too seriously, which I find personally refreshing. I like the acting. I think it's good. I like the main actress who's playing She-Hulk. I just think she does a fantastic job. I like the fourth wall breaks, which, again, I'll remind everybody that is a She-Hulk thing, not a Deadpool thing. She did it first, so it's just some people just got introduced to it through Deadpool first because of the MCU. So I'm looking forward to Matt Murdock and Daredevil showing up hopefully soon.
Yep.
We'll see.
Next week.
You think so?
You think so?
They released the trailer for next week's episode, and
that's true.
I thought that was a mid-season. I thought that was a mid-season thing. Oh, did they? All right, I didn't see it.
They would not. Yeah, they wouldn't do that if he wasn't showing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And also with her getting cease and desist. I think he's going to be like her lawyer.
Okay. All right.
I think that's how Matt Murdock maybe gets brought into it.
And then Daredevil shows up separately.
But I'm curious. So is he brought in from New York to LA? How does that gonna work?
Hey, he's passed the bar everywhere, man. He's good.
I know. I'm just saying.
you know, he can fly plane.
Well, he's not flying. He can ride in it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want him
to coach. He's not.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, he travels. Lawyers travel.
Sure.
Yeah, he does.
He's a broke lawyer though. He doesn't make no money, so.
It's all pro bono.
Yeah, that's the truth. All right, cool. Well, I don't have anything else. You guys got anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, fun episode. I mean, the whole dating aspect thing. We could go into like a whole episode about dating apps and all that crap.
It really makes me upset how hard it is for her in this show to date. Where I'm like, this is preposterous, and also the guys are so terrible. Like, listen, there's douchebag guys and everything, but like, there's no way like this guy, like guys would just ignore her on a date, or like I've had like maybe the making pay thing but. It's all
that. Oh, we didn't discuss that moment. Oh my god, I forgot about that moment, dude. Okay, that moment had me trippy. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone on a first date and I have paid the bill myself, or if we split it, but it's like an agreement. It's not one of those like, oh, do you want to split? I don't ask her. I either pay for myself or they say, can we split? And I go, yeah, sure. But like that moment where like it's like a stare down. And then she pulls. I was like, "Get out of here with that!"
Yeah,
like that was such a trash to me.
He just gets his keys and leaves. It's like
and dips,
listen,
bro.
Listen, I know a couple of girlfriends who they told me that guys have been like, "I forgot my wallet," and they've paid or like weird stuff. Still, you gotta be. I mean, again, I think this is all over the top. But my main gripe, this whole thing. In the show is legitimately that she can't date, and I just find that impossible.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That and just like they're making men to, I mean, at least in the show, like top tier trash. Like I've never seen. I've heard stories of men like this, and I've seen like different like Reddit like Tinder like profile reads, but like this is like because even when they were it was her and what is her friend's name
Jen.
Her assistant,
the paralegal, I think it's Jen. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's not Jen.
Yeah. When they were sitting at the booth, and the guy was like, "I hate to see two ladies sitting alone." She's like, "Well, I'm with her, so we're not alone." And it was like, "Yeah, it's true. Like that's the dumbest thing you could have said because they're not alone; they're together." Like it was. It's just like when he walked up into the whole thing. I'll be at the bar if you ladies want to go. Like, stop, no, dude. Like I myself am a dude who's like extremely shy, so I would never pull that kind of stunt, and I wouldn't even say something as stupid as that. But like to see it in a show, like I said before, it makes me cringe. I'm just like, oh, like it's gross.
Yeah. Nikki was her. That's right. Nikki's her name.
Nikki,
yeah.
But I think that's the point of the show. I think it's showing like an aspect where guys are the worst.
It's
it might be a way to get us to feel that way. Like, hey, like, don't be like this, and you're like, oh, for sure. Like, I'm not going to be like that.
And all of us have been. You guys are still out in LA. I was there for 12 years, and while I didn't date but I met my wife out there. I dated a little bit. We've heard the rumors about the LA dating scene and some of the guys out there, and obviously we're all the guys, but we're the nice ones for all you ladies out there. So these
No,
guys
don't say nice. Just
yeah.
say we have good mothers.
Yeah.
We
We're
have good mothers.
The
Let's
good
put it
ones.
that way.
The good ones. Yeah. So we're bad boys too. So if you like that, we can bring that noise. No, I'll stop.
I have
All
a
right.
great credit score. I don't know what to tell you. I got a great credit score. Yeah, I got a decent career.
Yep. Can pay the bills.
Yeah. I'm doing to sell myself.
Yeah.
Mike's got a house. You know what I mean? Like we're doing great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear you guys. Sorry, we totally went down a rabbit hole there. My bad.
Oh god.
But
no, I agree that my one gripe on the show is just this: is her having really tough. It's tough for her to date, and the guys she dates are just like preposterous human beings.
Yeah.
But it's the angle that they're pushing, and I get it. I get it.
Totally
But
understand.
the show so far, good. A lot of filler. I think the last 5 episodes coming up, that's where the real stuff gets going. I think.
I'm with
and
you.
Daredevil is showing up. No Mephisto though.
You got to do that to me, Mike. All right, fine. Maybe
Never
He
gonna
Who
let it go.
Remains will show up. We'll see.
I cannot wait to see that trailer for
Yeah.
Quantumania. They keep talking about it, and they keep saying a line he has in it. I cannot wait to see it. I'm gonna cream.
Yep.
I'm gonna say it.
I'm looking forward to it. So,
It's tomorrow. I think tomorrow is the lineup for tomorrow.
oh really? Well,
They're
we'll
dropping it
see.
tomorrow?
We'll
Oh
see.
my God.
We'll see.
No. I think part of Disney Con or whatever they call it,
D23.
the lineup of things that they're showing, I think Ant-Man is on that aspect.
Well, I'll check
I think
the
they might show-
schedule after this. I used to have it up.
too.
They might show Blade.
I think
I don't know.
I think that we're gonna get at least updates. They might not show something, but
I'll take a teaser, but I wouldn't take a trailer.
Yeah, I know. That'd be interesting. So, well, if you made it this far, look, we appreciate you. We'll be back, for the other episodes. We might do 2 at a time. We might do 1. We'll see. It just depends on our schedules. So hopefully, if you want to keep checking this stuff out, we're going to keep putting it out there. Check out the links in the description below. Subscribe, all the things. Hammer down like buttons. Until next time, hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. All right, let me stop recording.